Okay, well, welcome back to our creating our Raspberry Pi Internet of Things with our display. After the end of the first session, we saw how we actually created our thing, and we'd created the certificates and linked them to a profile and got an endpoint for our code. Now we need to transfer the files to our Raspberry Pi. We need a certain setup in our Raspberry Pi, which looks like this. I've got a directory called My IoT Things, and within that, two directory. One contains the certificates for the program that will run on the Pi, and then within that, we've got a Lambda, which is our program that will run under Alexa, with again the same certificates for that program. You'll see why that is later on. So we need to transfer the certificates that we've created over, or they've been generated over to our Pi. Now I'm going to do that using WinSCP, a program that transfer things quite happily. You can do that using VNC if you've got some of the advanced versions. Now I've actually renamed the certificates that we downloaded, they're here, to something called My Thing Certificate .pem.cert and mythingprivate.pem.key. They're the two that we need. And if you remember, we also needed an Amazon program as well. Can't see it there. Oh, there it is. Amazon root ca1.cert. So we can just drag those and take those over into our Raspberry Pi. Here, as you see, here's my setup on my Raspberry Pi. There's my IoT thing. Within this, here's my listener program, which will run on the Raspberry Pi. We'll look at that in a bit. And we've got the certs for that here. I've actually already transferred them, but I'll transfer some over just to show you in a minute. And then on the same directory, we've got our Lambda program here, which will, of course, be uploaded to Amazon and run on Amazon. But that has also got some certs, name, same cert, same thing, same name. So we can copy the certs over. We just drag them and pull them over. That's done. And we could transfer these certificates as well if you want me to. I can transfer the whole lot over. But like I say, over on the Raspberry Pi, they should be kept in the certs directory, the Lambda certs directory, and in the IoT thing certs directory, and rename them such that they are called mything-private.pem.key, mything.certificate.pem.cert, and the Amazon root ca1.cert. Okay, so once we transfer those over, if you do that, you won't need to change them in the program. If you want to call them something else, you can do so, but don't forget to change them in the program. If you haven't done so, we'll need the libraries for the SenseHat or whatever hardware you've got running on your Raspberry Pi. So there's some instructions to do that. But we will also need the files for the AWS IoT on the Raspberry Pi. So just pip install those. And you might as well update everything while you're doing it. So we need a Raspberry our listener program. Remember, we're going to have a program that listens to the internet and gets messages via our device, our Amazon device. And here's the code we've got. So I'll look at this actually on the device itself. Oh, wrong thing, sorry. And we'll look at the code. We'll just open this with the editor. And we'll take a look at this code a minute. Wrong one, sorry. And there's a lot of setup here and that sort of thing. But we'll need the endpoint that we created, you need to put in here. This isn't my endpoint. It's just one that I've just generally created up there. And here in the code is our pointer to the certificates that we've got. And then further on down here, we've got where we read the messages that are sent from the pub sub. So we'll send a hello message, and the sense app will display hi there. We'll send a red message, and it will just display red, and we'll send a sparkle message, and the device will just sparkle. The rest of it is just settings up and connecting to the My Pi drive that we'll talk to in a bit. So that's the basic code. You can type all that in or copy that if you want to. And we'll get that running, and we'll show you how we can test it out before we go on to talking through our device. So here's messages to change the endpoint and the code. Okay, so we'll run that and we'll see what happens. Sorry, too many. So I'll go into my directory. Make it a bit larger so you can see what's going on. And here we've got our listener.py program. And I can run that, Python 3 listener.py. So that will connect to the internet with all those certificates we've got. And as we say, we're listening on my Pi. Now, we can test that out by going to our AWS. If we go to AWS IoT, if you're not quite sure how to get that, just go to the AWS site and you'll search around here, or you can type in IoT and that will give you the list. We want the IoT core, which is also here anyway. So we'll load down the IoT core, and one of the messages on the side is to test. And we can test here by connecting surprisingly to a topic. Remember, our device is subscribing to a topic, and our topic is /mypi. We subscribe to the topic, we can then send messages to that topic. And if we just look at the notes again, we can send directive called hello, and we send that and publish to the topic. You can't see that, but I can see that my device is saying hi there. Or we can send a different directive. We can say red and again publish, and my device goes red. So we know that our program is working fine on the Raspberry Pi. So I think we'll just stop at that point. There's nothing much else to do here. We can change the code, and we can actually send different things as well as a directive. We can send data messages as well if we want to. So we might say how long we want the device to sparkle for instance. Okay, so the next thing is to create the Lambda function code and upload that. We'll do that next.